This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the Compliance Week 2022 podcast series. Compliance Week is thrilled to be back 100% live and in person after 3 years apart. Back for its 17th year at Compliance Week National 2022, compliance, ethics, legal, and audit professionals will gain insights and make connections at the industry's premier cross-industry national compliance event, offering knowledge-packed, accredited sessions and take-home advice from the most influential leaders in the compliance community. In this podcast series, we will detail some of the speakers and what they will be discussing at the event and why they're attending Compliance Week 2022. I hope you will join me in attending this conference, and particularly this year when it's literally the first major compliance conference which will be held live since the pandemic began. We link to the conference in the show notes, and listeners to this podcast get a special discount, which is also listed in the show notes. I hope to see you in May at Compliance Week 2022. In this episode, I visit with Spencer Preis, Vice President, Associate General Counsel, and Ethics and Compliance Officer at Southwire, on his presentation at Compliance Week 2022 on navigating a comprehensive regulatory environment. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode. Today I have with me Spencer Preis. Spencer, first of all, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Spencer, could you tell us your current role?
Sure. So I work for a company called Southwire, which is based in Georgia, but has operations all over the place. And I am the Vice President, Associate General Counsel, and Ethics and Compliance Officer for Southwire. My main responsibilities are leading the Ethics and Compliance program, supporting our board on corporate governance issues, and also supporting our privacy program.
Spencer, could you tell us a little bit about the business Southwire is in?
Sure. So we're one of the largest manufacturers of wire and cable products in North America. We also have a division that sells tools and other sort of electrical components. And have been in business for 70 plus years and have always been based outside of Atlanta and Carrollton, Georgia.
Spencer, I have the presentation or panel you're speaking on is called Deep Dive, Navigating the Global Regulatory Environment. I was wondering if you could tell us, give us a little bit about a preview of the panel or what remarks you're going to bring to it.
Sure. So it's a pretty wide-ranging topic or a series of topics that we're addressing. The things that I'm most excited about in this particular session is the format. So as you may know, and the audience may know, these are breakout sessions that include a lot of opportunity for people to do a deep dive into a particular topic and collaborate with one another. And so the format really lends itself to people sharing kind of best practices, what they're doing at their companies. So we have kind of two different formats within the larger session. One is these breakout sessions where the group will really vote on which of about 8 topics they want to break into. And so we'll have, I think, 4 different breakout sessions, each led by one of the panelists. And then there's also a sort of second half of the presentation or the session will be a whiteboarding exercise where we'll get into a discussion about sort of different challenges and issues you deal with when you're dealing with different, you have operations in different countries and different cultural considerations, different policy considerations when you cross borders.
Spencer, within the context of Southwire and what you do for Southwire, do you guys have literally a worldwide business, and you really are subject to multiple regulatory schemes across the globe?
Yeah, so our business, I wouldn't say that it's worldwide. It's primarily focused in North America, but we do have presence in Asia and Central America and a few other places, and we source from a lot of different places across the globe. So we do have sort of worldwide interactions, even though most of our commercial operations are in North America, and most of our employees are in North America. So it's not a global company in the sense that some of these other companies are, but we certainly have a lot of interaction across the globe.
Spencer, I'd now like to turn to why you are attending Compliance Week 2022, or some of the things that you hope to get out of the conference. So why are you going this year?
Sure. So I should disclose this is the first time I've ever been, and I'm really excited about it. So for years I've been wanting to go, and this is the first time I've been able to work it out to go. And the thing that I'm probably most excited about is the thing that I'm generally excited about when I get the opportunity to interact with other people in the field. So I always come away from experiences like this having learned a lot. Hopefully I've shared a little bit, and others have learned from things that we might be doing at Southwire. But the main thing I'm excited about is to meet other people, learn what they're doing in their programs, collaborate on sort of best practices, and you get it. You through hearing about others' experiences, you also learn what might be right for you. So obviously every company is different, and figuring out from the sort of menu of options that you have available to you to choose from, these kinds of formats really lend themselves to getting wide exposure.
Well, Spencer, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time for this episode, but I'm greatly looking forward to meeting you at Compliance Week 2022. I can still remember my first Compliance Week conference, and after getting over the sense of being overwhelmed, I was just stunned at the breadth and scope of not only the presentations, but the people and the companies there. So I'm sure you'll have many of those same experiences as well.
I look forward to meeting you. Thank you for having me on this podcast.
This is Tom Fox again. I hope you'll plan to join me at Compliance Week 2022. Registration information is found in the show notes. And of course, there's a discount code for listeners to this podcast that I've listed in the show notes as well. It's going to be a great conference. We're all going to be able to get together in a full conference for the first time since the pandemic began. I hope you will plan to join me and all of your fellow compliance professionals at Compliance Week 2022.